Class, in order to explain why your hormones will soon make you an easy target for every smooth-talking Lothario with his own car and tight jeans, I will now show a short sex education film.
We're gonna be talking about the penis! We'll be talking about the vagina!
It was kind of, here is this plastic diagram of a vagina, pass it around, see what it does.
I want you all to come back with sculptures of each other's genitals.
We had to do anatomical drawings of the penis and vagina.
Don't have sex, because you will get pregnant and die.
And so he would just like walk around the classroom like, don't have sex, kids.
The official school policy is abstinence.
Okay, everybody take some rubbers.
Don't spill God's seed, or you will go to hell.
Take one and pass it down.
My sex ed experience overall was pretty lacking. It was very clinical, it was very rigid, and it was all embarrassing. You know, I felt embarrassed, and I think I'm quite a liberated person.
We never actually learned about sex and the emotional sides of it, or any different sexualities, or literally anything about sex and the actual act of sex. We mostly just learned about the science of it.
Pictures of dicks.
Images of the different STDs.
Picture after picture of like disgusting shit.
You know, showing the STDs as first before a person's had experience sexually, it's a funny order of events, right? It's sort of using fear to educate.
Sort of sex is bad, right? Or you're going to get all these diseases, rather than sort of understanding what it means to be in a relationship that includes sexuality for all different types of people, age appropriately.
The fear-mongering came in with STDs. I remember having a conversation with my dad saying, I'm not having sex, I don't want to die, I don't want to get gonorrhea, I don't want to have this coming out, I don't want to have AIDS, all that stuff. Mm-hmm. Especially being gay, the fear of AIDS is now prevalent for, sadly, everyone.
I felt like they were trying to scare us off of it versus the professors who were just kind of very open about it.
Alcohol, probably they're talking about abusing drugs and STDs. That's not health class, right? That's an unhealth class. That's a disease class.
People also want like what they don't have. It's kind of like not too dissimilar from drinking.
Yeah.
Like because it's not talked about, or because you're not, or at least you're not supposed to have it, it just makes you want it more.
And once again, instead of having a dialogue in sex ed about it, it's just considered, oh, that's wrong. Let's just put the filter on rather than discuss it with kids and say, what are you learning? What do you feel?
If you turn it into something that's taboo because you think kids are going to want it, that's going to make kids want it, and that's going to make the problem worse, and it just compounds on itself.
I think that because we're so uncomfortable about it, and because we're trying to hide our sexual tendencies, and because we're hiding nudity so much, that is reflected in our obsession with it.
So I think it's so taboo because it's not talked about either. You know, it's really not talked about.
I broke the ice with them by saying, okay, let's talk about fucking. That's the mood that I set, and that's what I wish could be set for students, because then they realize there's no holds barred. You can be open and not be judged.
Obama's one accomplishment? Legislation to teach comprehensive sex education to kindergartners. Learning about sex before learning to read? Barack Obama. Wrong on education. Wrong for your family.
I'm John McCain, and I approve this message.
There's sort of a chasm between what is the educators feel they want to convey, or their agenda, and what the kids are really experiencing or need to know, or how they need support to understand sexuality and their own, where they're at, from little kids to high schoolers. So I think it's lacking a lot.
I started developing a love curriculum for elementary school kids with some friends that asked me to do that are elementary school teachers. They said, we need a love curriculum.
En wanneer ga je knuffelen, Merel? Als je het lief vindt. Of kussen. Of kussen. Want je kunt een heleboel dingen doen als je iemand lief vindt. Hè? Wat kun je nog meer doen als je iemand lief vindt? Trouwen, heel goed. Dat kun je ook doen. Ja, dat kan ook.
I went to a French school, so got the French curriculum of sex ed, but also because I'm in the US, I kind of got like the state-enforced American version of sex ed, which basically wasn't sex ed. They went a lot into the emotional side of it.
Have you guys had other classes on sex and sex ed or sex and intimacy? Have you?
In high school.
In high school? In high school, in sex but not intimacy? How many of you had love ed? How many of you had sensual ed?
One of the things I did talk about in the book is, and people like this line, love and sex under one umbrella. It's sort of a nice image, and I do think that it should be integrated with loving feelings. I mean, it's true that it can happen, that it becomes like an activity or a sport or going to the gym, but very soon people find that it loses its meaning unless it's connected to feelings, and people are afraid of the feelings. So I think that having a dialogue about how it can be connected to feelings, to enhance it and to make it more satisfying from the time people start till they're 90 is very, very important. So I do think it's a dialogue between emotions and sexuality always.
It's more the angle they take, whereas one is trying to intimidate you, the other actually talks about the pleasurable side about it. And it's supposed to be fun and you're supposed to have a good time, but let us tell you how to be safe about it and not get pregnant. While the other one's just don't do it.
What kind of sex ed curriculum would you design for high school students? Given what you're just talking about, given what you're hearing, what would you include? What would you have wanted at the time, or what would you, now knowing what you know, what would you include now for students having a pulse on what they might need in a high school level?
We would keep STDs, but we would add talking about the emotions.
We'd start with a discussion about love first and foremost, because we want the connotation of sex to come from that place of love. And so talking about the hormones, the emotional aspects of it, and them going through that heightened sense of sensibility or being adolescent.
But I do think that there's fear about just having really positive feelings, and there almost seems to be a cynicism about love and about relationships going great and good connections with wonderful people in your life, and then the sex tends to be very covert or disconnected from the feelings that are happening between people, right? Everyone's hiding how they really feel, and they're more conflicted about their feelings than they are about the sex. The sex is easy, it's just an activity, but the feelings are so much harder. And so I think that if people were earlier on could start being encouraged and supported to talk about feelings, then the sex would be a lot better.